Alright, in this problem, Meghna has a bowl of gumdrops. And then she sees Gita at her door and quickly eats one gumdrop before Gita enters. And then she shares half of her gumdrops with Gita. And then she sees Gari at the door and she quickly eats another gumdrop, and then Gari comes in and takes half the remaining gumdrops. And finally, she sees Redima at the door. She eats another gumdrop before Redima enters, and then she gives half the gumdrops to Redima, and then Meghna is left with only one gumdrop. Ooh, that says gumdrop. Gumdrop, right? Gum. Um, how many gumdrops did Meghna originally have? Alright, well, this is mainly a problem of keeping track of all this information. We have three friends. We have Meghna, and she has these three friends, and and they each take some of her gumdrops. And let's let's first of all draw a timeline here. So I'm just going to draw a line here. It's not a very straight line, but that'll do, right? So let's say, okay, so let's say Redima enters here. Alright, so this is where she enters. Gari enters here. And let's say Gita enters here. Alright. And along, during this time period, the number of gumdrops she has changes. So she has some number of gumdrops here. She eats one, she gives half to Gari. But it's the only one place where we know exactly how many gumdrops she has at the very end. We know she has, after Redima enters, and she shares some gumdrops with Redima, she has one left. Okay? So we can just say, okay, we got one here, and let's work backwards. And working backwards is often a good strategy for solving problems. So let's think about this backwards. So if she shared half of her gumdrops with Redima and she had one left, then she had to have given one to Redima, and which meant she had two. Okay? So she had two, she had one left over, she gave one to Redima. Okay? And then right before Redima entered, she ate one. So right before she entered, she had three gumdrops. Okay? And the other one went to Meghna. I'm just going to write Meghna down here. Alright, so this one gumdrop went to Meghna. She had two left over. She had one to Redima, and then she had one left. Okay, so we're just working backwards here. Okay, so if she had given half of her gumdrops to Gari when she entered, she must have had six, right? So she must have given three to Gari, alright? And right before Gari entered, she ate one. So she must have had seven right before Gari entered, alright? And here's Meghna eating one. Alright? Now we know that she had given half to Gita, so she must have gotten 7, and so she must have had 14, okay? So she had 14, she gave 7 to Gita, and she had 7 left. She ate 1, then she had 6, she gave 3 to Gari, and she had 3 left, and so on, okay? And then we know too that right before Gita entered, she ate 1, right? So she must have had 15 to begin with, alright? But she ate 1. So that sort of tracks what happened to all these gumdrops, kind of working backwards from the fact that she had 1 at the end, and knowing that she gave half to each of her friends as they entered, and she also ate 1 right before they entered. Okay, so that's just kind of working backwards through the problem. There's a lot of different ways to solve this. This is probably the easiest. Actually, the first way that I solved this was to say, well, let's see, she had X to start with, she ate 1, and when she shared them when she shared the gumdrops with Gita, then she had half left. Okay, and then right before Gari entered, she ate one, and she shared half with Gari, so she had half left. Okay, gets these fractions get a little funny, and and then right before Redima entered, she ate one, and she gave half to Redima, and then she had one left, right? So she had one. After all of that, she had one. So that looks kind of an ugly fraction. So we got this fraction here minus 1, and then we have this whole thing here minus 1, and then we have this. So, but we could easily just multiply both sides by 2, and then we'd have x minus 1 over 2 minus 1. Let me see. Over 2 minus 1 equals 2, and then add 1 to both sides. Okay, and then we'd have x minus 1 over 2 minus 1 over 2 is equal to 3. And then you can see we're getting the same numbers as we go along. So then we would have x minus 1 over 2 minus 1 is equal to 6, right? Just multiplying both sides by 2. And then we'd add 1 to both sides. And so we'd have x minus 1 over 2 is equal to 7. So x minus 1 is equal to 14. And then finally we would get x is equal to 15. Okay? So that's sort of working forward. So this is the equation we get by working forward, and then we undo everything to get it back to the original number, which was 15. So that's another way to look at it. You might have done it that way. I know my son did it. I gave this problem to him. He did it another way. He said, okay, she had one left over. She had twice as many before Redima came in, but then she ate one, so she must have had one more, and then she must have had twice as many before Gari entered, but then oops, that shouldn't be an x. That should be 2, right? And then let's see, make sure I'm not messing up here. Okay, so we have Redima, Gari, and so hang on a second. I think I'm getting myself mixed up. So right before Gari entered, she ate one, so she must have had one more, and then times 2 because she gave half to Gita, and then she ate one right before Gita came in. And let's see if I didn't lose track here of of what I did. Okay, so she had one, but she had twice as many before Redima entered, but then she ate one right before Redima entered. And then she had twice as many before Gari entered, but she ate one right before Gari entered. And then she had twice as much before Gita entered, but she ate one right before Gita entered. So I think that looks okay. So let's see if that works out. So we have 2 plus 1 is 3, times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, times 2 is 14. Oh, and this should be plus. Plus 1 is 15. Okay, so that's another way to do it. But either way, any way you do it, the answer is that she had, let me go all the way up here, she had 15 gumdrops. 15 gumdrops at the start. Okay?